Greetings and salutations, and welcome to another edition of Strange New Pod. I'm Eric, and joining me on this renegade edition of SNP on the top right is Commander MC, who's been spending night and day deciphering what the cosmic koala is actually trying to say. On the bottom left is, Commander Giraffe. I had to make sure you were right there.
Not been here so long because they don't remember her.
No, I just wanted to know where you were. They're just, I know Giraffe's just wondering why that alien species would showcase such an amateur lack of focus and balance. It's so strange. And then finally, on the bottom right is Commander Hawk, our resident slop jazz lover. And I believe he's the one who said that the wetter it sounds, the better. I'm pretty sure that's what he says, right?
Yeah,
hey.
It all sounds wet.
Yeah, it all sounds wet. Well, welcome back, everyone. How you guys all doing this evening? Good?
Doing all right.
Everyone's just, yeah, man. We're
pretty good. Yeah.
On the go.
In the zone.
Julian is off this week. I think he's trapped in one of those Beta Z puzzle boxes. It's going to take a while for him to get out there and join us again. But, it's been a while since.
He'll move along home eventually.
Exactly. He'll play Alamarang a couple times. It's great. It's fine. It's fine.
He's going to count
enough
to
to figure it
three.
out. Don't worry.
Exactly. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, my voice cracked. I'm finally hitting puberty. This week, in a review of Lower Decks, episode 304, what happens when the environmental computer on the ring world of Corzonia begins to malfunction, causing the system to go back to its base settings? How does Boims handle his first away mission as the command lieutenant? How does it close? Is Talin impressed? And on board the Cerritos, what happens when Mariner, Rutherford, and Tendi become the victims of the new lieutenant's hazing ritual? We're going to break it all down. But first, Giraffe.
No! Yes!
Yes, you.
Yes.
I need to thank all our lovely patrons.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, patrons. Thank you, Jeff Reeve, Maria Gossett. I worked with Maria a lot this week, so double thank to Maria Gossett. Talula, Jen Stein, Tina Alexander, Joe Saporito, Noe Santos, Kang Hui, Takako Nagumo, Kara Kennedy, Fernanda Nogales, SNK, Laura Lindemann, Colin Davidson, Alan Davis, Chesco, Michael Graham, Emily and Travis, Gildara, Cassie, Rhoda Humper, Maggie Light, Living Beefle? Is that Beefle? Wayne Ritz.
Chris.
Scone of Arc, Sean, Jay Howard, Anna Yurdadon, Mahalani Uchiyama, Matt Harker, Rob Sampson, Joshua Lewis, David Willett, Tara Poland, Slope 74 with Parakeet, Joshua Miller, Adam Sanders, Aris Penjin, Linky Guy, Cynthia Mackey, Aaron Walkie, Carl Engeley, Michael Kwan, Teji Mir, Caitlin, Elizabeth Dean, Jim McMahon, the Chief Ernesto Castagna, Sedano 317, Deborah Hussey, Free Fries Short, Kat TP,
Yep. I don't know.
Tripping the read alert over a pineapple. Sean Manning, congressional baseball fan, Chris Waterman, RHCB, and Martin Simpson. Oh, and we have our Captain Stable,
our executive
producers.
Yeah, Commander Chris, Simon Steger, the Chief Ernesto Castagna, and Chris Waterman. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
It wasn't written in the thing, so I was like, oh god, I gotta find them. But we did. Awesome. So before we start, we have a couple news bits. Giraffe, apparently there's a charity thing happening this Saturday.
Oh, there is. They're laughing because I've been working a lot these last days. So I am part of a charity live stream this Saturday. It's going to be on Twitch. It's called Roll for the Arts. And we are raising money for the Entertainment Community Fund, which support all artists and writers and creatives in need of money in these striking times. But they're also here when the strike is not happening. So it's a great group of people. And we are going to stream for 10 hours. So come say hi in the live chat. It's gonna be very cool people playing role-playing games, and there's gonna be a bunch of interviews of people you love, interviewed by me, including Aaron Walke, Nami Melumad, Jesse Earl, John Billingsley.
Oh, damn.
Oh,
Many others. So yeah, please come say hi, and if you have some cash to spare, it will go to a great cause.
yeah.
That's awesome. We'll put the link in the show notes, Julian. I don't know if you have it now.
It's
You
on
can
the
find
Discord, it's on my Twitter, it's on my Instagram, it's on my Threads, it's on my Blue Sky, it's on my TikTok.
Oh man, it's everywhere. We'll get it to you guys. You'll figure it out. As well, we're gonna lock down the date for the the Picard season 3 review. Just things have been a little crazy, so we'll get to it, or at least these folks will get to it soon. It'll happen.
Picard season 3 is not going anywhere.
Exactly. October 28th is being dubbed Star Trek Prodigy Day. This is the day that the show premiered, and we will be definitely taking part. So hang tight for those details. They'll be coming soon. And I'm going to throw MC under the bus. Not under the bus, but I'm going to be like, can you do our little, we're teamed up with someone. Who are they? And, they...
We've partnered with Heroes and Villains, who have just some amazing geeky apparel. They've, recently got the Star Trek license, and they've got some awesome Star Trek shirts, but they have also got Star Wars and lots of other stuff. They've got a Dungeons and Dragons bag that I really want to get.
It's so nice.
I don't play Dungeons and Dragons.
It's a good place to start.
So cool.
It's a good place. They have a dice holder in the front and a little a dice tray that comes out of the front of the backpack, and I'm like, man, I need this back. I don't need another tabletop backpack, but I sort of do.
But if you want 20% off your first order, the code is strange. Unfortunately, this is only good for our people in the US, which,
And for your first order.
Mm-hmm.
For your first order, yes. But please use that on your first order to save 20%.
Hawk, is that a new sweater you're wearing?
I'm so glad you mentioned it. Yes, this lovely hoodie came from Heroes and Villains.
Model it for us. Do it. Stand it. Do a turn. We want to see that.
Do the walk.
Oh no, he disappeared.
He's gone. Oh no, he's gone. He disappeared. Oh, here we go.
He had so much swag it overloaded.
You're breaking the internet.
Oh, it looks good. Is that stitched on? That looks like it's stitched.
Oh, the embroidering is amazing on it. The logo's design is impeccable. It's just gone through its first wash, and everything has survived.
Nice.
Yes, so perfect for these chilly fall Canadian nights now.
I don't know how it became so cold so fast. It sucks. But
send it a bit away because it's so hot right now in Southern California.
Send it your way.
I will gladly send it your way.
So hot. And, I say that every week, but if you can send money for water and snacks on the picket line, please do so because it's dearly needed. It's insanely hot.
100%. And there's a number, speaking of the picket line, we didn't mention that this show is being recorded during the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike. So we are in full support of them because we wouldn't be, we wouldn't have these amazing shows to talk about weekly if not for these amazing creatives. So, these executives don't really need another gold-plated helicopter as we heard at Fan Expo. You don't need another gold-plated helicopter, do you? No.
Well,
no.
All those big companies and that are being asked to give up a fraction of their profits.
It's less than 1% of their earnings this quarter. It's crazy.
So that people can actually live and survive and
health
get
insurance.
Yeah. And get proper pay for hard work.
I spend the week interviewing creatives, and the story I've heard, did you know that writers who work for animation are paid less than for live action?
Why?
I did know
That
that.
doesn't
Yeah,
surprise me.
it's
I didn't know that. And, was I surprised that it was so cruel? No, which is terrible. But yeah, yeah.
I mean, in general, just pay people a living wage. Like, they just need to do it. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Anyway, we're going to go into Strange in the Loop, and I think I have a sound effect for it. Not the one Julian uses, but I have one.
Oh, we're doing new things.
Red alarm! Red alarm!
Who wants to read the Strange in the Loop?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah, do it, Hawk.
Yeah. So if you were stationed aboard the Cerritos and wanted to come up with your own hazing ritual, what would you have the lowly ensigns or lieutenant GJ junior grades do?
I was wondering what that LTJD meant in the thing.
Julian and your abbreviation.
Yeah, I know.
I got one.
Go for it, man.
First thing I would make them do as a hazing ritual, and that would be extensive bug testing on Worf's holodeck combat programs.
Oh,
That's just downright cruel.
you're mean, man.
Yeah.
You're mean.
Dangerous.
Well, there's safety settings and that, but
Yeah, I have to say that's the thing with me. Like, what would I do for my own hazing ritual? Absolutely nothing. Hazing is terrible. It's so mean.
I mean, I never went through hazing.
I did.
I didn't know it was such a thing here, apparently. I don't know. I think it's forbidden in France by law or something like that.
I don't think
good.
you're supposed to do it here either, but
I don't think you're supposed to, but people do anyways.
Yeah, they did at least at our university, Hawk. I don't know if you had to go through.
Oh,
any of that.
I never.
You weren't in res, were you?
No, I never lived in res. I was a mature student when I went to university. I was living at home.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I never had to go through that nonsense. But yeah, they really should be outlawed here on that.
I think
I'm sure it
I'd
is
go
now.
for something like cute, like, telling the ensign to come in, like in Stranger Worlds, like coming with like their dress uniform when it's very chill.
Yes.
At the bar, like something that is not hurtful, dangerous. I mean, just you're a little bit like pointed, like people will see that you're new, but that's all. Or telling them, don't you know that on Tuesday everybody wears green? Yeah, everybody wears green on Tuesday. Or something like that.
Something silly and not harmful.
Something silly, not hurtful, not dangerous. Yeah.
If you guys have
maybe
suggestions in the chat, make sure you pop it out there. Sorry, MC.
Like last week with Mariner calling Ransom Jack all the time. Something like that, where it's like, oh, now that you're a lieutenant junior grade, Ransom wants you to call him Jack, or Freeman wants you to call her Carol.
Mom.
There are a couple in the chat. Well, first, Matt Harker said that they were hazed in high school to join the Thespians. I actually got hazed in my theater group in university too.
So nerdy, man.
It is very nerdy. My residents also hazed us. I was dropped off a town over and had to find my way back. And this was in 2000.
My God.
Yeah, that was fun. I made friends along the way. So it's
fun until somebody goes missing.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. If for those Ontario people, I was in Hamilton. They dropped us off in Burlington, and we found our way back. It was a bit. Let's see who else said something in the chat. Jay Woodman said holodeck waste removal. That was what I was gonna say because they already had to do it anyway.
Who had to do that anyways?
So maybe a week of it. Oh, that would be mean. Kay Quinn said, I would have them look for a very specific star or comet. It doesn't exist, but they can't leave until they find it. That's hilarious.
That's a hazing ritual that comes. When
but
people
you're going to do that only once, though. Because then they're going to tell other people and they're not going to look for it. So it works only once.
I don't know. Snipe hunts have been going on for a long time. So
this particular factory in Hamilton, Stelco, and that apparently one of the hazing rituals is they send the new guy out looking for a blue flame. Go get me a blue flame. And they spend the entire day wandering around and and nobody will tell them what it actually is.
That's me. Tara said on Wednesday.
You're sweet. Sorry, I'm just reading Matt's comment.
Read it out loud. Go for it.
I was dressed as a green M&M with green tempura paint and gasoline all over my face
M&M,
and in my hair.
M&M, not an Eminem.
Yeah, black tights and a green sandwich board, and had to hand out green M&Ms and sing "I melt in your mouth, not in your hand." Jesus Christ,
so fucked.
That's a very theater thing to do, though.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
Let's see anyone else. Eric Summers said,
Vaseline.
Oh, that makes more sense.
I was like, gasoline? That's insane.
Eric Summers said, have them check out a burn mark, which may or may not be there, on the ship's hull with EV suits. Yeah.
I thought about like go clean, the outside of the ship or something like that.
Yeah.
But same, pretty dangerous.
Yeah. I don't think I would have done anything other than, let's do the waste removal thing. That seems mean enough as it is. And they already know how to do it. Do it for a week. Anyway, let's jump into the review. We're talking about episode 3 of season 4, Star Trek Lower Decks. I said that in a reverse order, which was weird. In the Cradle of Vexilon, in our order is Hawk, Giraffe, MC, and then myself. Let's do this. Did he play? Yeah. Does he play a sound before we start this? No.
We can all sing if you want.
Oh, hold on.
Computer, initiate combat simulation. Smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord. I don't know. I thought that was funny there. Carol rolls out her sleeves up. The episode starts much like we talked about in our intro. Carzonia's environmental computer hasn't been updated in millions of years and starts to go haywire. Clouds turning to ice, mountains being flooded, and volcanoes popping out of nowhere as the system reboots to base settings. All through this, though, Carol takes point and gets her hands dirty, working on the ground to fix the issue alongside Boimler's team. What do we think about Carol really taking charge throughout the episode? Hawk, you're first.
She has a very weird quirk. She's like, she's such a great captain. The way she greets people and that, and the confidence she exudes and that, and always wanting, just to leave everybody happy and that. But she gets a weird quirk when she takes on a personal task on her own. She thinks she wants to do the update herself and that with the computer, because she has a background in ancient computers and that. But she also has a team of engineers on the ship. And this is a computer with Genesis level powers of terraforming. Just get the engineers down in that.
I don't agree with Hawk.
Challenge.
We have a counterpoint.
A new challenger appears. No, I really liked it because, in TNG, when like there's something archaeological and Picard is like, I'm going to do it myself. The guy is not an archaeologist, but let's get that out of the way. But that's his thing. And he goes and he does it. And we see the same thing with Kirk that loves history. I love that in Strange New World, he doesn't recognize Toronto from New York, which I think was fantastic. So anyway, there's a historical thing is like, I'll fix, and I love to see Carol Freeman have the same quirk, like that. That's her stuff. And even if it's like, that's not officially and totally her stuff, she likes it. It's like, I'm going to get and do it. And you see it. I mean, you see it with Janeway in science. You see it with all the captains. So I was so glad that Carol had that too. And I mean, she does a good job. She fixed it. Kinda. Like I would have not been able to do half of it. So no, I liked that she was at the center of the action without being the mom, without being only the captain anxious about her crew. Like she was having fun, then she had a problem to solve, then she solved it with the help of everybody. It was a classic episode of Trek. Like put Janeway and Voyager doing the same thing, and it's like a classic 90s episode of Trek. So no, I liked it.
For sure. MC?
Carol rolling her sleeves up gave me life. It was so good. And like nothing wrong with what she did wasn't wrong. Like the computer absolutely need to be updated. But you know what it's like when you haven't updated a computer in a year, and this one has apparently not been updated in millions of years. Like it's not surprising that, I mean, it could have gotten like a lot worse. So Carol did nothing wrong. It was exactly what was supposed to be done. It just, was a little bit tricky. It was harder than was, thought. And I love seeing her like actually like really doing something, like really being involved. And it does match with what we've seen from her before. I've actually been rewatching the older seasons, and I just watched Temporal Edict, where everybody's put on the no buffer time. And she's more stressed out than anybody because she has so much stuff that she has to do, and she's doing work for other people. And we've seen that in the past, that she takes on responsibilities that maybe is not like the most captainy thing, but she wants to be involved, which again, I think ties her with Mariner. Mariner is somebody who's like, I want to get shit done because Starfleet is really dumb about things, and I'm doing what's right rather than what's correct. So, and I think that's what Carol is doing. She's actually getting involved and rolling up her sleeves.
Yeah.
And can I address the chat?
Sure.
Janeway was actually a science officer. My guys, Picard was not an archaeologist, okay? He got like one lesson of archaeology in his life, and then he went around and like was stealing artifact and like blowing up excavation sites, being like, I love archaeology. I'm gonna go. Even goes to an archaeology seminar, like with everybody to present a paper. The dude basically didn't even do a minor on archaeology, but it was his thing. So if it's okay for Picard to go and excavate stuff and steal artifacts that he still has in his office in Picard, okay, it's fine for Freeman to fix computers. Come on.
Also, one thing, where did the update come from?
Oh, the cloud. It came from the cloud.
A 6 million year old cloud.
That's where it goes. That's where all the updates
It was like a little update notification where it's like you have an update and they've just been pressing,
ignore
tomorrow.
I agree with all these fine folk here. It's nice seeing Carol go on an away team and actually do something off the ship. I love her enthusiasm, like MC was saying, and when shit hits the fan, you can see how Mariner reacts the way she does, because Carol does the exact same thing, and I thought that was amazing. Yeah.
Oh, can I just say?
No, you can't.
I love Vexilon.
Right?
Best AI ever.
All the AIs on this show are so good. I don't know if we talk about that later, but we'll find out once we all read the
it's
outline.
really nice to have a nice AI, because we have had all of the bad ones. And now we have one that's just kind of neurotic.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that everybody has to keep asking, they're not trying to suppress the people, are they? No. This one's great.
This one's a nice one. Let's move on to Boimler, the micromanager. It's hard to even call it micromanaging because he doesn't let his team do anything. He takes on all the mission himself, using it's a learning experience as an excuse for his inner dilemma of just being promoted, not feeling comfortable ordering his friends/peers around. Thoughts on Boimler's inner monologue here? What's going through his brain? Hawk?
It's spot on for Boimler, and that newly minted junior grade lieutenant, and that put in charge in his first little away command mission, and that, and he doesn't want to spoil it. I love that he has to do a psych up routine for it. He gets really freaked out talking to Talin about it. Even though she's very helpful, but she's also very Vulcan about the situation and that. And so he gets the idea in his head that, he's not just ordering people around and that, he's ordering people into situations that are extremely dangerous, and he's responsible for that. So he has this freak out like he does and just starts to do everything. And, it's like, I'll show you how to do it. A 4-person job and that. And he's basically trying to unscrew like one of those capsules with his teeth in order to just to make sure that nobody dies. Great Boimler. I love Boimler.
I really like. I'm looking for something. Sorry, I'm looking for a quote because I'm gonna be like that. I'm gonna be like that, but I don't find it. But anyway, I think it's a quote by Stacey Abrams, but maybe I'm making it up. So whatever. I think that Lower Deck has such a good reflection and a good portrayal of leadership. We see always like these amazing leaders. Like, look at Janeway. Like, oh my God, nobody is like Janeway. Maybe only Kate Mulgrew is like Janeway. So, good and able to delegate. And like, when you suddenly end up in leadership, it's so hard to know when to delegate, when to show example, when to be the one doing, because it needs to be done fast and it's not the moment to learn, it's a moment to do. When to have people like, when to make sure that people are able to do it. And it's like a lot of like moving pieces all the time. And I know it took me a long time to be able to delegate a lot, because I think I had to burn down first and be I cannot do everything. I can't. So I have to delegate and give to people in my team like the work they are here to do. That's why they're here, right? And I like seeing Carol go through it, because Carol went through it like the previous season. You remember when she was like, I am not micromanaging. And it's great to see Boimler going through it with the idea that he has one more thing to take into account, is that he doesn't want the ensigns to die. I was never in this situation. Like, I was never in a situation where I was like, I need to have my team to do things and maybe they're gonna die. Like, so we see also how much he cares for the people around him. And I think it's the first time that Boimler realizes that, like, Starfleet is super dangerous. Mm-hmm. It's the awakening. I mean, maybe he knew it, but big up to like for Lower Deck for this, like for a realistic portrayal of what it is to be a leader and to learn how to be a leader. That's the thing. How you get there. Because you don't see that on the Enterprise, right? Everybody's always perfect. It's boring.
Yeah.
MC?
I think one of the things that I really love about Lower Decks, aside from it being super funny, is that this is the first time we've gotten to spend a lot of time with people on the lower decks. You know, obviously it's in the title. And I remember this really made me think of an episode of Deep Space Nine. Specifically, there's a line that Sisko says when he was promoted from ensign to lieutenant. And suddenly his friends were calling him sir and him having trouble getting used to it. And this is kind of just a long version, you know, a full episode version of that, which is something that we don't get from the other Trek series, because all of the other Trek series, I mean, yes, you have like the one ensign that's always, you know, around, but for the most part, you have, you know, the senior staff, the bridge crew, and even the ensign is always, you know, like well respected on the crew. They're all seasoned, you know, don't need to adjust to things like that. So I'm enjoying seeing them move up the chain of command. And I really hope that this show goes long enough that we can see them getting to the point of captaincy. And with Boimler, it's just the most Boimler way to have all of this happen. Like, of course he would be trying to do it all himself because he's, you know, terrified that something is going to happen to them. And the only thing Boimler feels that he can control is himself. And I mean, even that, like, but watching him get the things that are supposed to have like 3 people helping him, doing that all by himself and using his teeth. It was cringy, but it was exactly what Boimler would do.
I mean, after the first episode when Ransom's like, you know, nothing can go wrong. So he tries to keep everything like himself, like do everything himself. Like, this is the perfect progression from that.
Yeah. No, I just, it was an interesting group of, of ensigns to have under his command. Like, he had Taylor, the Kzinti, who now has a name because he hadn't had a name before this, who was like in the red shirts like a couple of seasons ago, telling Boimler how to act, you know, like a command officer, and now Boimler's in command to him. And we'll get into Talin later, but it was really interesting to see the people that they actually put Boimler with as people that he could command.
For sure. Like, I remember when they announced the Starfleet Academy series, I don't know, years ago, the first time in the 90s, I remember they were talking about it. And I was always like, oh, it'd be cool to see people, you know, grow up in like grow up through the school and then see them eventually get on ships and stuff. And the fact that we're seeing that on lower decks is, like MC said, it's amazing. Like, I love that. That's such a cool progression, especially with these fun, neurotic people. And Boim's just, he's perfect. Like, you know, he would do that. To be honest, like most people, when they move from a lower position to management, they often, you know, they try and do too much. Like Giraffe was saying, like it's weird going into leadership.
Be everybody's friend.
Exactly. And sometimes you just gotta you just gotta let them do their jobs. It's
lonely at the top also. Like, don't become too much of a leader because it's boring.
For sure.
That's why I'm like staying like, you know, EXO. EXO is the best. You can still go to the parties.
You can still make fun of the boss. You're not the top.
Fun of the boss. You're the cool boss.
Exactly.
And when something goes south, you're like, it's not me, it's the captain. You know how she does.
Yeah. I was trying to back you, but you know, I can't do anything.
Like if it were me, you know that would not be. Yeah. And then they're like, you should totally be captain. Me, no.
Oh, stop.
Nah.
Oh, stop.
I'm not.
And also the
I'm not
EXO.
for that.
The EXO can hook up with people on the crew because that always happens. Captain never does. EXO does all the time.
I mean, sometimes the captain.
We've seen some captain do it. I mean.
That's fair. All right,
it's so true though.
Sorry.
Remember my uncle you met, Eric, recently?
Yep.
He was vice principal at this high school for years, and they kept offering him the principal position and that, and he just kept turning it down. He's just like, he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be the top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm. That's where all the shit goes, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move over to Talin, who's really helping Boims get through what was a fresh new team up that we hadn't really seen yet. When Talin sees Boims taking on all these tasks himself and, you know, is kind of being a dick, she gives him a good old Vulcan pep talk, not unlike what Mariner would do. What do we think of Talin's support role this week and this matching up of teams?
I love how much screen time Talin gets this episode, and the team up with Boimler is perfect because it mirrors, like, you know, him in his meeting with Spock, like, you know, in a lot of ways. You know, the logic versus like those insanely logical deductions and that about, like, you know, the mortality rate of lieutenant, you know, junior grade lieutenants in their first mission. But yeah, I really enjoy the dialogue between the two of them. She really ends up actually being the one who inspires him at the end. You know, saying like she reviewed his records and that, and like all the reports say like he was absolutely ready for it, and he was actually able to confide his fears about, like, you know, about the mission and why he was afraid of letting them do anything to her. But he, you know, and eventually she actually ends up pulling out Bold Boimler and that, which, you know, was exactly what the mission needs at the end, with the, you know, the exploding volcano and having to redo the entire assignment over again.
For sure. Giraffe.
I love Talin. I think she is most probably one of the best written Vulcan character we've had in Star Trek for a long time. I mean, I love T-Paul, so, you know, big up. And we don't have a lot of Vulcan women in Star Trek, so I mean, I was as excited as the whole fandom for her to be here. But I love the fact that she's not caricaturally dead inside. You know what I mean? Like we've seen in Strange New Worlds, for example, like sometimes the Vulcans are like just like so absolutely boring or like insane. She has good feedback, and she is the kind of person you would like as a second in command. Like she keeps him grounded, and she gives him fact that he needs to know. The problem is that he doesn't react to what she's saying in a way that makes sense. Like telling him, you know, there's a mortality rate for ensigns. It's important to know. He should factor that into his decision making, but not the way he's doing it. So I love the fact that she's a calming presence also, because she is, how do you say that, unwaverable throughout
unwavering
anything.
yeah
unwavering through everything. And yeah, I just want to know more, see more. be more with Talin. And I hope, they're giving a little bit like Kirk and Spock kind of dynamic, like Kirk being like the guy who's all over the place all the time and like fast decision making. No, I'm going to do it. And Spock was like, maybe we can we think about this? Can we just like calm down and like consider the facts before like running straight into it? So yeah, they made me think of that dynamic a lot.
And it was also kind of great that she gave Boimler like that room to kind of fail. She could see like how much he was struggling in that, and she could let it play out.
For sure. There's a lot of love for Talin in the chat, and I love to see that. MC, what do you think?
I adore Talin, and as Giraffe was saying, that we don't have enough Vulcan women. And one thing, and I will bring this up because this seems like a good time. One thing I've noticed about the Vulcan women that they do have in Star Trek is that they always like to not have, they always come up with some reason for them to not be fully Vulcan because they write them as emotional. So it's like, oh, Vulcans can't be emotional, so we have to make them half Romulan because that was what they were going to do with T'Pol. Had Enterprise gone on, that's what they did with Saavik. Yeah. So they, for some reason, they're always like, we're writing these women being emotional, and Vulcans can't be emotional. But no, Vulcans are emotional all the fucking time. And I like the way Talin is, because there is this emotionality with her. Talin is actually very much like this Tumblr joke that was going around about Spock.
Oh my god, like, brace, Tumblr joke, let's go.
Where, humans look at Spock like, the perfect Vulcan. Meanwhile, Vulcans are like that emotional bitch. And that's kind of what went on with Talin when they first brought her in, that she was brought onto the ship because she was too emotional, so they didn't want her to have her in they didn't want to have her on the Vulcan science vessel. They wanted to put her into Starfleet. And I mentioned this last week when nobody else was here, so I'll mention it again. I think that it wasn't so much a punishment for Talin as it was a very calculated move for the Vulcan science, whatever. The most famous Vulcan in history is someone who was very emotional and someone who was fostered through Starfleet. So seeing somebody who has those qualities, I think by putting them in Starfleet, they're almost trying to, make somebody who's a lot like Spock, because Vulcans need more people like Spock. So totally here for it. And Giraffe mentioning Boimler and Talin having a Kirk Spock dynamic. I don't know what that says about me, because I think I ship Boimler and Talin.
Boleyn?
Look at you.
Toimler? Boleyn. Toimler?
Boleyn. I like it. Well, I think that I do agree. Like, I never read the captain sending her to Starfleet as a punishment. I think it was like, this is not the setting where you can blossom. This is not the setting for you. This is a setting where we need people who all function the same, at the same rate, for us to be able to survive in a time of crisis. Little bit like in the military. Like, you need to follow orders because everybody depends on you following the freaking orders, And when you have somebody that is a grain of sand, it can blow up the mechanics. But in a garden, that grain of sand can be very useful. And I think it was more like, you're a great scientist, you were right, you have good gut feeling, you know what you're doing, but this is not the setting for you. You need to go somewhere else so you can become the best version of yourself, IDIC, So no, I never read it as a punishment.
I mean, some people did.
I think she reads it as a punishment.
Yeah.
I think Talin 1000% thinks she's being punished. Yeah. Because most probably she's been punished all her life for because these her attitude doesn't come out of nowhere. Like most of it, she's done that all her life, and she's been punished over and over again to try to feed a mold. And I do think that she sees it a little bit like Mariner also sees it yet again another punishment when it's not.
Yeah. I mean, she was there for all of 5 minutes and she got a promotion. So, like, it's definitely working for her.
I mean, have you seen Starfleet? For sure, Vulcan will get a promotion in 5 minutes.
Sure. I have nothing to add. You guys spot on. I will say one of the things in the chat, Jamal Taylor wrote, Talin is the calm Boimler needs for daily life. Mariner is the chaos for life and death situations.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
I like
interesting.
that. I like that a lot. So after Talin has her talk, there's a massive change in Boims. Bold Boimler actually comes back, puts his team to work, who do respect the hell out of him, and he even sacrifices himself for the mission, literally. He was dead. Thoughts?
Yeah, bold Boim. We always know what's in there, and that we knew by the end that it would have to come out, especially with the mission in such peril as it was, and like it's good that it did. And that he became confident. He started shouting orders. He knew exactly what each person should be doing on that assignment, and told them exactly how to do what to do. I love that bit where he when he told everybody out, it wasn't just him reverting back to old Boimler and trying to do everything himself and that. Until Lynn recognizes it, it was an order that there was danger, get everybody out. And a great lesson is that even though everything went, according to the plan, and that he still died. Somebody still died on it.
Yeah.
He got toasted.
He got toasted.
You see that tan he got?
It was clinically dead, and he went to another place, and I just got that on my second viewing. That was definitely a reference to Twin Peaks. So nice one, Mike McMahon.
Yeah, the floor, the room,
just the
shots,
chair.
the
backwards talk. Yeah.
The backwards talks, a single peak.
Yep.
Wait, it's the mountain, the Black Mountain.
That Shax talks about, yeah.
Shax talks about
Yeah.
the Black
yeah.
Mountain,
The Black Mountain,
the Black
that's what
Peak. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then you see all of your fathers. I
But
was expecting a full cinematic view of what Shax tells to Rutherford in season 2 or something.
maybe that was it. I'll finish off by saying I love the little metaphor of him dying at the end, though, and then coming back to life, because it's like Ensign Boimler dies and now Lieutenant Junior Grade Boimler has been reborn from the ashes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. Trev.
I think I think it's a great way to talk about leadership. I think I'm gonna just show that episode at leadership retreats. See, that's what you're gonna do.
You're going to die.
That's how you're gonna get toasted, and then you're gonna meet the koala, and then you're gonna do your job right. No, I mean, he needs to be kicked into gear, and I think we all need to be kicked into gear. I don't believe anybody is born a perfect leader. You need to mess up. You need to be the ensign, the cadet, and you need to mess up. So no, I like the fact that he's suddenly kicking into gear, but the thing is, he does it too late, and that's why he ends up blowing up. If he had taken that decision faster, maybe. So I think there's a good metaphor, that he dies. But I think also that him dying makes him now officially an officer, a bridge crew, because they've all
Ransom
died
said
once.
the same thing, right? You never forget your first death.
And I think it's twice that we see Boimler get totally toasted. One is when he meets Tom Paris. And he falls from the ceiling, and he's all well, yeah, no, I loved to see the koala, and I just wanted the whole thing that Shax says and see it, the whole story tells Rutherford, but I'm okay with the Peak of Fate or the Dark Mountain. I don't remember the name of it.
MC.
Oh, wow. This is such an interesting move for Boimler. First of all, I'm going to disagree with Giraffe, which is, I think, the second week. The last time you were here, I disagreed with you as well. So that's interesting. But
I don't even remember the last time I was here.
I can't even. I can't even remember what it was about anymore.
I think the last time I was here was hegemony, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah, I think it was the last. Yeah, it was a Gemini. Yeah.
You didn't do the season 3 wrap up on Lower Decks? Okay. Well, whenever it was. How I'm going to disagree with you now. If Boimler had gotten the leadership earlier and had them helping him out, that actually would have been worse because like they had to stop what they were doing before they actually got all of those things out because they had to put them back in. And it's and if they had gotten them all out on time, they would have been really screwed because they wouldn't have been able to reroute the thing through what they were doing.
I forgot they had to put them back. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and that's when Boimler actually gets everybody involved and puts everything back together. And seeing the transformation of Boimler from the insecure basically still ensign to the lieutenant was great because Boimler knew that he was in danger, like that he could die. And it was not a decision made of fear, but one made of him being a real Starfleet officer rather than just, basically playing at being one, which sometimes in the earlier seasons, sometimes it felt more like Boimler was, playing dress up as a Starfleet officer. And now he's a full Starfleet officer. And the death scene, well, I mean, we're all saying that it's Boimler's first death. I forget which season it was when they took all of the hull plating off and Boimler dies into cetacean ops and he basically drowns. And when he wakes up, when they revive him, he's like, I saw a koala. So, I mean, there has been a near-death experience before. It's just this time we got to see it.
Yeah.
And oh my God, the Twin Peaks reference, having the Black Mountain and the koala being there. I am not ashamed to admit, I actually went online to find out what the koala said to Boimler. I was initially planning to get that clip and flip it around so that I could listen to it backwards. Thankfully, somebody had done the work for me. I mean, the internet's always going to give. And the koala says, "It's not your time, Bradward Boimler." So
amazing.
That's and him waking up. I love the little bit with the Ta'ana, the holy shit that worked.
I can't believe that worked.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I love Ta'ana so
30
much.
30 cc of whatever the thing we gave you before.
Oh man.
Oh, so perfect. Love
Awesome.
it.
Awesome. I don't know if I would call this Boyd Boimler because when Boyd Boimler happened last season, I think he sort of just did things that he wouldn't normally do. This seems like a true evolution of Boimler. This is the Lieutenant Boimler coming out, and I love it. I think it's great. I love his transformation, like Hawk was saying, his rebirth through fire. I hope we get to see more of this. I hope it's not just a one-time thing. I really like his evolution. I see each of them are slowly going up the ranks, and I love the idea of them evolving like this. It's such a cool thing. So, we're gonna take a quick moment here because we're doing a giveaway. I wish I had a special effect. Hold on. Yeah, that's a Romulan one. That didn't work. Sorry.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? Does someone want to read the giveaway stuff?
I can do that.
Go for it.
So we're giving away a Yosemite shuttle, and this week's code word is Alamoraine. So we've decided that you can stack your entries. So by emailing us every week, you get another chance in the giveaway. You can email us the answer to trivia@strangenewpod.com, DM the Strange New Pod 9000 account on Discord, or DM us on Twitter and Instagram. Again, the code word is Alamarine.
They should sing it to us. That'd be amazing. Anyway, I put the details in the chat. All right. We're moving on to plot B, the isolinear hazing. Meanwhile, aboard the Cerritos, Lieutenant Dirk orders Mariner, Rutherford, and Tendi to scan every single isolinear chip on board the ship in case one is malfunctioning. Despite that, they were supposed to have the afternoon off. After finishing, Dirk shows them the secret second layer. Thinking they're being hazed, they come up with a wild plan to haze back and trap Dirk in the Wadi Chula game from Move Along Home. Dirk makes up a fake story about the importance of the chip having already been stuck in the game, talks Mariner's ear off about Jazz and needing to clean up the trap. Rutherford gets stuck in the game, and yes, it ended up all being a hazing. What did we think about the B plot this week aboard the Cerritos?
This B plot was amazing this week. There was a lot going on, and especially with Lieutenant Dirk and that, putting them through this thing where it's like they're scanning every single isolinear chip, even, despite how hot they are in the thing. And then unveiling, yes, as we said, unveiling the second hidden room of chips and that were even hotter and required tongs and that to even touch. And the fact that like even at the end of it, that it seems like when they were trying to haze Dirk rehazed them, with the whole fake story. So this is like I'm hoping he shows up more in the coming season than that, because like it's kind of like a nemesis for Mariner at this point. But yeah, this whole B plot was actually really enjoyable. There were so many great jokes in that.
I wish you would stop sending me jazz albums. I'm starting to like them, and I'm not a jazz person.
I totally relate. I've never been a jazz person in that, and yet, sometimes it's like you hear enough jazz and that, it's like, okay, yeah. It's like, I still hate jazz, but I do like this.
I loved the B plot. I felt the B plot was more interesting than the A plot. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're right.
I was much more invested in the B plot than in the A plot, because the A plot, I know how it was gonna go. Like I knew it was gonna go be chaos, and then they were gonna fix it, and then they're gonna save the day. I didn't expect Boimler to die, and even if when he died, I was like, he's gonna be fine. They're not killing Boimler. Come on. But the B plot, I really didn't know. I was like, is he really hazing them? Is there really a wrong chip? I really wanted to know. I was like into it. And when they built like all that plot, I was like, oh, that's gonna go so south. Like that's in so many ways. Again, I thought the animation was incredible. Like just Mariner, like you could see the pain of her like having to go through this. Like I mean, the voice acting, everything. Like I was so much with them and into this, like into having to do like that repetitive task that nobody wants to do. When you think you're done with this, and no, you still have to do it. And then there's a ferret, and then there's a second wall, and then there's a Betaset box, and then there's an Alamarine game. Like, yes, more. No, it was hilarious. I loved it. I loved it. And again, I loved it because I didn't know where they were bringing me. I didn't know where we were going with this. And I knew I was going to laugh. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. MC?
This plot was so good. I think my absolute favorite part of this is that it wasn't Mariner who came up with the idea of the hazing, that it was Tendi.
It was Tendi, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like this... Like, it makes so much, last season, it would have made so much sense for Mariner to be like, they're messing with us. But, I mean, Mariner already went through that last episode, Ransom's messing with me. He's, so having her be the one to bring up the hazing would kind of feel like a repeat of that, and she's moved past that. But with Tendi bringing it up, that's not something that we expect from Tendi. Tendi is the person who believes in absolutely everybody, but this is sometimes we do get that little dark side from her. And this is kind of that dark side where it's like, yeah, they're hazing us. And how we solve it on Orion is blindfolded sword fights. I mean, come on. I'm absolutely living for Billups having a ferret named Lancelot. He is such an asexual icon. Like, seriously, that is peak asexual prince there.
It's a perfect pet for him.
Yeah. And then it's just running around and it makes me wonder, is Billups in on this hazing? Like, does he know that like Rutherford has like this thing against Lancelot? Because that Lancelot really focuses on Rutherford the entire thing. Like, I could just see like Billups like having Rutherford over, like the engineers like come over for like a party in his quarters or something, and Lancelot just won't leave Rutherford alone. The references in this were really good. It wasn't, I feel, overwhelming. Like, it didn't feel to me like the jokes were too much based on the references. And one that is not referenced in here, which was just chef's kiss. When the Betazoid box gets blasted with the thing from Inner Lights and then says, "I miss my wife," which is a line. They had that line in the Voyager episode in the premiere.
Yes.
When, yeah, everybody misses their wife.
The Irish bartender. That's my wife.
Yeah, and now the guy who goes through the Inner Light thing also misses his wife. It was so, and I think like that's a very quick reference that is really rewarding people who know Star Trek very well, because I don't think they ever explained that thing was in there. It was just something that you had to recognize. So, very good job.
Yeah, like I have to agree with Giraffe. I was more invested in this plot than plot A. Like, it was Animal House in space, which I loved. I fully expected them to do like freeze frames at the end, be like, this is where they ended up, blah, blah, blah. But like, they didn't do it, but you know, it would have been funny. I also love the return of the cleaner. Tendi as the cleaner, just shooting the isolinear chips. Amazing.
Oh my God, yes.
This sequence was so funny. And I like that all of these like Easter egg things, like the Beta Z box and stuff, weren't just like little things in the back. They actually became part of the plot. I thought that was cool. Like, they don't usually do these Easter eggs as like actual things. Although I guess they did that with Voyager in the first episode. Anyway, final thoughts for this episode. Let's do it in reverse order. MC.
So this episode, well, first of all, I will just say it was lacking Moopsie, and that made me sad. But I mean, honestly, like, this episode was good. I love all of the episodes this season. But this episode, I don't think hit quite as hard as the first two for me. But that's not to say I didn't fully enjoy it, because there was a lot of really great stuff in this. I felt like everybody had something to do. Like Eric and Giraffe, I do think that I was more emotionally invested in the B plot than I was the A plot. It was just more interesting, more fun. So I don't think it's like the greatest Lower Decks episode, but it's still a super solid one.
Giraffe.
It's me, right? Yeah. I was like, wait, we were.
Don't worry, I won't forget you.
I don't know. Panic. Is it on the outline? Where's the outline?
Nah.
I admire how solid Lower Decks is. Like, it's an okay episode of Solo. Like, it's a good episode of Lower Decks. Like, I had fun. It was good. But, like, they were, like, compared to the one with the Moopsie and the one with Voyager, like, I'm like, my guys. They dialed it down a little bit, you know? It was, like, an episode at home. Like, it's just a crazy supercomputer that's, like, thousands of years, like, millions of years old. And it's still a super good episode. I don't think it's gonna be like, I'm gonna quote the two first episodes like 1,000 times a day. This one maybe not as much, but it was like legit a good entertainment. And they hit the mark so consistently that it needs to be praised. Because you can do it. Like it's appears. I don't know. They're doing it. I did find this one maybe more relatable for me than the two first ones, especially because I recognize myself a lot in the supercomputer. Like having a midlife crisis, being like, oh my God, I suck. I broke everything.
Where's my update?
I'm the worst.
Oh my God. I was like, just fire me. Just fire me. I dare you. I double dare you. I do the work of 6 people. Try me. I related way too much. Being like, maybe I just need a reboot. But if I need a reboot, I was like, maybe I shouldn't take a mental health day. And everybody's like, you're going to leave for a day? You're going to leave for a day? I felt that. Like, the poor computer just tries to reboot and everything goes to shit. So I related a lot with like the A-plot and Boimler and all that. It cracked me up, to be honest. But yeah, solid episode. Very solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. The way you had these 2 like huge episodes and this one kind of feels like bringing it down to earth again, and yet that in no way diminishes the quality of the episode itself. You know, from the way the way it misleads you the entire time, and that, you know, it's like we're giving another AI and that, you know, and it's like, even though everybody loves the AI and that, you wait for that inevitable shoe to drop when it, you know, gets rebooted and suddenly turns evil, except It doesn't, you know, it just goes back to its basics and starts like its Genesis program over again. What was teased in the trailers and that, with Rutherford, you know, being stuck in the Alamarain, puzzle, and it's not even like the main plot of the episode. And that he just power walks his way through the entire puzzle to the disappointment.
He powers through.
Yeah, to the disappointment of the puzzle. Yeah.
You know what it made me think? Like when you die in a video game and you have to redo the whole level over and over again.
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck! And you just like go through like da. Because you've learned it by heart.
That's exactly it. But yeah, like I said, in this episode, while it wasn't as epic as the last 2, and that, it was still just it's a solid piece of writing, and you know, I can't. Yeah, if this is the quality of what I can expect going forward into Lower Decks this season, that I'm all for it in that.
100%. It astounds me, like what Giraffe said earlier, that the animation writers get less money than live action, because this, you know, it's not the greatest Lower Decks episode, but it's damn good. It's still damn good, and it's better than most things that I watch on TV. That being said, the first 2 episodes were amazing, and this was good. That's not a bad thing. And you know what? There will be some quotes. Like, Giraffe, you might not quote, but whoop, that holy shit, it worked. That's gonna be quoted.
30cc or whatever the fuck worked before.
Yeah, exactly. Those will be quoted. And I do love that that Twin Peaks that death thing. I really hope we get to see more of the koala. Not too much, but I want to see him again.
I want to see it dance.
Oh my God, I would. No. Easter eggs in the episode. Anyone have any? Does anyone want to read Julian's? Because I don't know which ones.
Yeah. The box, the desert box from Laxana Troy. I mean, like, do they count as like eggs when like they're like obviously here for
they're right there?
Yeah.
I think Easter eggs. I think our Easter eggs are more just like references. Okay.
Corazonia means I think comes from corazón, the heart in Spanish. So I liked it. I don't know if it's a reference to anything, but sure. It made me think of Yorktown also. No.
I had the same vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I will always think of Star Trek Beyond because Star Trek Beyond is the best movie. Don't at me.
Tara has a great quote from this episode that will be remembered forever. It's "Eat a bag of Borg dicks." That the box said. Oh my God, I forgot about that one. That's such a good one.
It's like, I didn't know Dr. Tiana had been in here.
So good.
So this is a good time to mention. I was watching Jessie Gender's review of this, as I often do, and she pointed out, rightfully so, that Lower Decks has reached the point where it's referencing itself, and I really love that, because so many of the things we have referenced here are things from Lower Decks, and I love that, because I mean it's really nice to be able to reference TNG or Deep Space Nine, but by being able to now have a long enough history with Lower Decks that we can reference things from its own show, it feels real. Like it's, not just, a reference show. It's this own little part of the universe.
That pipe thing we're not supposed to talk about.
I do think I have a shout out to something else, because when the I guess Regenesis or whatever is starting, one of the first things that said is initiating fjords. I'm almost certain that's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy quote.
Oh my God.
Reference, because
Yes.
when else are fjords mentioned?
That's true. Oh my God.
I mean, would we be surprised? No.
I know, right?
No.
The clouds falling and breaking gave me life.
It was so
I
funny.
expected everything except that.
Let's see. We said Julian wrote "The Thing Is Halo," the little ring thing that is like the Yorktown.
It's the Halo ring.
It could be as well.
It
but
could be.
I think it was more like Yorktown and beyond.
I was Yorktown. It's Yorktown. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's Halo. But
Always
right, it looks like
Kelvin.
Halo.
I also thought it was like the habitat in that movie Elysium, that Neil Blomkamp.
Oh yeah, I
True.
can see that.
Yeah.
Always Kelvin. Always Kelvin reference.
Who's Calvin? Come on.
Carol has her sleeves rolled up like Mariner. We talked about the Black Mountain, the koala. Move Along Home was referenced for hundreds of times. The Betazode gift box. And then he wrote, are all the isolinear chips maybe a reference to the Naked Now in TNG season 1 with Wesley and Data?
I could see that, yeah, because that's when Data has to reposition
And he
them.
goes super fast and he just
Yes.
reorders them. Yeah.
I could see that.
Julian did forget the inner light box, the inner light thing.
Yep. Yeah.
I also thought Boimler's storyline was also kind of a reference to Wesley's storyline in the episode Pen Pals, and that when he's given his first kind of command project and that, doing the geographic survey, and he has to order people around.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
I like it. All right. Let's move over to the subspace to pull in mailbag.
Hailing frequencies open, sir.
That's an old one, but a good one. Who wants to read the Twitter thingy?
I'd love to.
Go for it, Hawk.
All right. We asked Trek Twitter what they thought about episode 304 of Lower Decks in the Cradle of Vexilon. And this is what they had to say. 52.8% said scantastic. 22.2% said blew my mind because Boimler. 19.4% said move along home. And 5.6% said I'm not a jazz person.
6%?
Yep, almost 6%.
That's so.
I don't know. Fair.
Who hurt you guys?
Yeah.
Hey, who are you? Give me names. I
Yeah.
just want to talk.
Well, Hawk was first, so that means Giraffe, you're next on the mailbag.
Okay, wait. Put the elevator music. Found it. Okay,
yeah.
let's go. Jedi Kate wrote for episode what?
Oh,
Episode
boy.
1 and 2? Am I on the right thing?
Yeah,
You are.
because
They have a thing for
episode 1, 2, and then 3 right after.
So I'm going on episode 3. What are we doing? Oh no, I'm reading everything.
Sure.
I'm
why
reading
not?
everything.
I'm
reading
just,
everything.
just
Let's
do it.
go.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Kicking this season off with 2 episodes proves that we can never take too much LDS, Lower Decks. Do you think it's a joke? Do you think it's
Yes.
like a reference to the Wells? Okay.
That's a great pun. isn't
That's
it?
a great pun. Good job. This show continues to hit it on all cylinders. Fresh, funny, and bold while presenting comedic texts on the Star Trek mythos that are both found and irreverent. 2 weeks made my inner Voyager fan grin and giggle with glee, and I have no bones Yet I Must Flee is a wonderfully goofy episode that introduces the cute yet horrifying Moopsie. Paramount better get on those plushes. I'm already intrigued by the mysterious big bad and hoping that storyline leads to a great payoff. I love Lower Decks so much, so much, and I wish I had some of Boimler's Star Trek collectibles.
Fair.
Same.
On episode 3, another new Lower Decks and another week that it leaves me smiling. The sitcom antics and the throwbacks to zany Star Trek were hilarious and remain among the show's greatest strength, along with the brilliant group of writers and actors. I particularly like the storyline with Boimler and Talin, my favorite new addition to the crew. I hope she'll be working closely with the rest of the main group as the season progresses.
Amazing. Matt Harker for MC.
Matt Harker wrote, "This was probably one of my least favorite episodes of the series so far, despite highlights like Ransom's art critique, Tendi going badass on those isolinear chips, and of course the koala dream sequence. Despite all this one didn't do it for me." Oh, Matt.
There's where we found that.
Who hurt you?
That's 6%.
Yeah.
Again, is that the green M&Ms?
Oh,
Is that what it is?
NY Rawlight wrote, "Move Along Home is still a stinking hot mess to me, but Lower Decks actually found a way to make Alan Moraine sound fun. Please give me more Talin. She's the animated Vulcan I never thought we'd need, but now we can't do without." Nice. Hawk, can you take
I have a
Professor
correction
Time?
to make. Alan Moraine was always fun.
I love, it's my favorite episode of DS9, right? Because I'm broken.
I know.
I love it. I will put that episode for no good reason and watch it because it cracks me up to no end to see Julian Bashir trying to hide inside a wall. I will die at that scene every single time. The art. Pure art. Sorry, go ahead.
Hawk, can you take Professor Time Traveler?
Absolutely. Professor Time Traveler wrote, "I really enjoy Boimler's growing pains regarding his rank, and I love seeing him paired up with Talin. I hope we get an episode where Talin is paired up with each of the the main four. However, Carol should have just called an engineer in the first place."
Giraffe, can you take Riker's tattoo?
Riker Tattoo wrote, "Fourth Shap?
Fourth Shap?
Fourth Shap? I'm enjoying the throwbacks." Okay, sorry, Chris. What does it mean?
I don't know.
Chris.
Clarification, please.
I'm enjoying the throwbacks to the crazy things Trek did while also being able to build characters. Development plus laughs is what really sticks out. It's also classic Lower Decks to show a semi-good Ransom, only to follow it up with him being a total jerk. In the end, I'm just glad to have seen more Alan Moraine. Count to 4. Insert one of those wild Avery Brooks smile.
MC, can you take Oz Trekkie?
Oz Trekkie wrote, "I'm loving the new pairing of Talin and Boimler. They work so well for me." Same. You knew Boimler was going to go over the top on his first mission, quote unquote.
Fair. Right, I'm going to take Tara. Tara wrote, "It was going to be hard to keep things at the Tuvix and Moopsie level, but this episode had some very fun moments and great lines. Talin is a perfect addition and her delivery is spot on." Yeah, Gabrielle Ruiz is an amazing actress. And if you haven't seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, you should, because she's hilarious on it. Sorry, I lost my spot. I got excited about Talin. Everything that has ever occurred is science stuff. Chef's kiss. But nice AI is boring as fuck. Why does it say peanut hamper here? Nitpicks.
Because it's Tara.
It's the
She put
emoji.
the emoji, that's why.
Fair. Nitpicks. Millennium versus millennia versus 6 million plus years. One is singular, one is plural, and one is a lot more than a millennium. And now, a limerick. In the Cradle of Vexilon, megastructure Corozonia, truly special, it's bespoke. The benevolent AI Vexilon, though, appears to be broke. Boim's first mission might well prove deadly. Mariner's playlist is now Talarian modal scuzz medleys. So let's move along now. That Wadi Chula ain't no joke. Amazing. And let's bring it home with Hawk reading Admiral Funniest Frontiers.
Yes, Admiral Funniest Frontier wrote, I love this episode. Everyone who has ever worked in IT can relate to an update not installing correctly.
That's so true.
I love Boimler being put in charge of a team for the first time.
Amazing. Well, that's it for episode 304. Does anyone want to announce who's coming on next week for... Do it. Go, Giraffe.
Next week we will be joined by Jessie Earl herself.
Yeah.
For episode 4. And I don't know the title of episode 4, but
I don't think it's announced yet.
It's not announced.
I think they get announced on
Mondays. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We don't know the title of episode 4.
I don't know what you're talking
I didn't
about.
know it, then see.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming out. Thanks everyone for coming out and really joining us on this renegade non-American
Yeah, the foreign
takeover.
Woo! All right. We'll be back next week talking about the next episode, which we can't tell the title of because none of us can remember it. Thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you guys next week. Maj Ram, everyone. Bye.
Thanks for beaming into our podcast today. If you want to keep the hailing frequencies open, you can subscribe on Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. Like what you hear? Put in a good word with Starfleet and leave us a 5-star review.